2019 USC wide receiver room is hands down the greatest college football wide receiver room ever. They had 5 future NFL players and 4 future Pro Bowlers, so where exactly are these players now? Well, first up, the veteran of the wide receiver room was Michael Pittman Jr., as he played 4 years at USC and broke out in 2019 with 1,275 receiving yards and 11 touchdowns, as he was named a second-team All-American and won the Pop Warner Award. And this allowed him to be selected 34th overall in the 2020 NFL Draft by the Indianapolis Colts, where he's been an amazing wide receiver for them for the last 5 seasons and just signed a huge contract extension. And next up, one of the younger receivers in the room was Velus Jones Jr., and he was never an amazing receiver for USC, but was an extremely good returner. After the 2019 season, though, he decided to transfer to Tennessee, and in his 2 years with the Volunteers, he was a dominant receiver and returner for them, as he'd actually be named the SEC Special Teams Player of the Year and a first-team All-SEC selection. And this allowed him to be picked in the 3rd round of the 2022 NFL Draft by the Bears, where he was an extremely underwhelming receiver, but was actually a pretty good returner for them. Sadly, though, since then, he's begun to bounce around the NFL and is now currently going to be a running back for the Saints next season. And another star in this receiver room was Amon-Ra St. Brown, who played 3 years for USC. And during his time with the Trojans, he was flat out dominant, which allowed him to be picked in the 4th round of the 2021 NFL Draft by the Detroit Lions. And so far through his first 4 seasons in the NFL with the Lions, he's been one of the best receivers in the entire league, being a 2-time first-team All-Pro and making 3 Pro Bowls. And one of the youngest guys in the room was Kyle Ford, who coming out of high school was a 5-star recruit and the 3rd best receiver. Sadly, though, in his first 3 years with the Trojans, he just never really got an opportunity and was kind of disappointing, transferring to UCLA in 2023. And after one rather disappointing season with UCLA, he transferred back to USC for 2024, where he was also just quite disappointing, but is now currently playing for the Raiders. And the true young star of the receiver room was Drake London, who was just a freshman during 2019. And he played 3 years for the Trojans, breaking out in 2021 with over 1,000 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns, as he was named the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year and would go on to be picked 8th overall in the 2022 NFL Draft by the Atlanta Falcons. And through his first 3 years in the NFL with the Falcons, he's become a top 10 receiver in the entire league.